So opening my heart center allowed me to begin to attract all the things that I wanted. But the tricky thing with this is society and the things that are normalized work against us being able to connect with ourselves. Healthy flow in our energy field actually is blocked by fear a lot of the time. So many fear-based systems in society, and we all carry our own individual fears too, stop us from connecting with our heart and the truth of who we are. When I broke down these fears, when I actually understood the truth of who I am and who we all are, I became unstoppable and was able to begin to attract and believe in myself and who I actually am at a new level. When you allow the fears to break down, you connect and almost like unlock your heart and allow that to open up. And ultimately, this is how our soul is expressed and how our true selves are expressed outwards. And I even began to glow. Like, I feel that I glow now. Now, it's a little bit tricky and it can be a little bit confusing. And what we have is we have a lot of half truths. So we have a lot of things that are kind of true, but then it's fed with distortions, which again make it very hard for us to combat this fear. And an example of this when it comes to connecting with your heart and allowing your heart to be open is that a lot of people may perceive this as being overly generous to everyone, being overly nice to everyone, ultimately allowing people to walk all over us because our hearts are so open. But actually, no, again, that's a distortion. Let me explain. You also have boundaries. You don't let people walk all over you. You use your intuition. You break down any sense of people pleasing. And people pleasing, being overly nice, may be interpreted as having your heart center open. But actually, when you think about it, people pleasing is still based and rooted in fear. Because people pleasing is putting other people's needs before our own. Because we don't want to be rejected by others. We want validation from others. We want other people to like us. We've been programmed to be in that way. It's a program. It's a fear-based program. It's not who we truly are. And this is what I mean by it can be really, really tricky to break down some of these systems because they are so clever and fear is so clever. It can make it really hard to avoid because it always feels that in every corner that we look, there's something. And this is why intuition discernment is so important, and actually why spending time alone in your presence and really being able to look at things from like a bird's eye perspective, third point of view, to think, why am I acting this way? Why am I still feeling this way? Who told me this? This isn't the truth. It's so important because it allows you to see things for the truth of who they are. When I began to center myself, center my own needs, connect with myself on a spiritual, emotional level, I was able to break away this programming and ultimately shift how I think, I feel, how I'm showing up, shift my energy and my state of being, which opens your heart and allows you to attract the things that you want to. I had a spiritual awakening when I was an early teenager. That's how long it can take to break down some of these things and get to where you're meant to be. I've realized in life that there isn't any rush and things are always going to work out for you when it's meant to, if you're putting in the inner work. Also, I just began to own who I am. The desirable and the undesirable parts of me. I just told myself one day that I'm not going to let the fears define me and take over who I am. I'm not going to let these past situations, things that have tried to bring me down or make me see myself in a certain way, define me. Tell me who I am, because only I get to tell myself who I am, and only you get to tell yourself who you are, and ultimately that's all that matters. And my advice is to get to know yourself away from the programming. If you're watching this video, the chances are you're already probably quite spiritually connected, or you're into subconscious mindset, different things like this in some way, shape or form. Continue with the work to get to know yourself, connect with your inner child, heal your inner child, remove fear around being seen, work to open your heart, to begin to trust yourself and love yourself truly. See your worth, see yourself for who you are. Not let anyone be able to tell you who you are. And over time, your heart will begin to open up and you will be able to attract the things that you've always wanted to. There's one thing that I'm not going to do, and I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to tell you that it happens overnight. I've had certain goals in life since I was younger, and only now I'm being rewarded for my work. And by work, I mean the work that I've done energetically, spiritually, internally, subconsciously, and also the work that I've put in physically into my projects and my businesses and my hobbies. Only now, only recently has it all begun to align. So I'm not gonna lie to you, tell you that it's an overnight thing, but the time's going to pass anyway, so what are you going to do with it? Even the things that you think aren't possible definitely are possible. And if you have a dream or a desire, it is there for a reason. And if you have a fear, it is there to block you for a reason, because you're going to be powerful if you get rid of that. So work through that over time. It's going to get better. In fact, it's going to get great. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.